All right, we are here with another NBA draft video. A little different this time because the Celtics traded for Anfernee Simons. We are going to look at potential ways the Celtics could use Anfernee Simons to trade up in the NBA draft. This is my opinion. I wrote about it last night. It doesn't seem like a huge coincidence that the Celtics made this move when they made this move. It doesn't feel like the Celtics front office does anything by accident, right? Maybe this was just the time the Blazers wanted to do it, and so they wanted to pounce on the opportunity. But the fact that this move happened right after the NBA season ended and right before the draft happened tells me, or at least infers, that there could be more stuff in the works. I would be shocked if we don't see another Celtics trade either in the days before the draft or the day of the draft. So we'll see what happens. But if Anfernee Simons does end up getting moved, and hell, maybe we'll have to scrap this video by the time the draft happens because who knows what happens. Let's take a look at what teams the Celtics could use to trade up and who we would like in those specific spots.
Yeah, so my pea brain for the last 13 hours, we're recording this just before 12:30, has been just sitting here thinking, man, like they didn't clear enough cap space for a Drew trade. Thought the cap space would happen, blah, 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 cap space, second apron. Trading up in the draft would be a way where you're moving the Simons contract for a valuable asset, or a semi-valuable asset, and also getting off more of the money and taking a greater step towards the ultimate goal of getting below the second apron, which comes along with a bunch of basketball penalties, including future first-round picks moving to the back of the first round. This would be year 3 of Boston being above that threshold, so that's when the penalties get really harsh. And they actually can't do it not only this year, but the next 2 seasons, because that would be 3 out of the last 5 that they have violated it. So be on the lookout for that.
So then they can't do it in 2 years from now, too, right? 3 of the last 5.
That's what I mean. This year,
or the next 2 years.
25, 26, 26, 27, 27,
and 27, 28. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is the draft order in the first round. Let me share my screen here so y'all can take a look. Obviously, they're not going to get too high with Anfernee Simons, but who up here could want him is the question, right? And the key is not only who would want him, but who would be willing to give up a high first-round pick for him.
And who can legally do it.
Exactly. There's a lot to look at. And we can also look at if Sam Hauser could be used to trade up. Like, this can also be tied into that. But since they traded for Anfernee Simons, I thought that would be somewhat interesting. Like, Phoenix is out. They're not going to trade that pick for Anfernee Simons. They have too many guards already. I don't really know if Toronto would trade 9 for Anfernee Simons. That feels like they'd want more of like a big package for a Jalen or a Derek, maybe. Obviously, Portland like legally cannot do it, so that wouldn't be it.
That'd be hilarious. It's just, you want your guy back? Okay, give the Celtics 11.
Outside of that, I don't know how many of these teams would be interested, right? Now that you actually look at it, like it might have to be a later first round pick. And then it's like multiple firsts and you recoup the value. Like, would the Grizzlies do it? They lost Desmond Bane. They get another shooter for a cheaper price. They give you, 16 and a future first, and they get Anfernee Simons to replace Desmond Bane. Like, is that a realistic possibility? Would the Timberwolves do it? Would they want to add some extra offensive firepower around Anthony Edwards? Like, this is where you start looking, I think. Spurs don't really make sense if they draft Dylan Harper and have those 3 guards. I don't think the Hawks want to add that to their backcourt. The only ones up here that even make a little bit of sense in my mind are like New Orleans, kind of, and like Brooklyn, kind of. But at that point, if I'm Brooklyn, I want to draft a young player. And
yes.
I don't really know what New Orleans is up to. Maybe they would want Anfernee Simons, but I don't know if you give up a top 10 pick for Anfernee Simons. So I feel like in an Anfernee Simons trade, you're looking more at this 15 to 20-ish range and seeing if there's a package deal that could save you some money.
Yeah, it sucks because the teams that would be fun have guys or no reason to trade for Simons. Like Toronto is like the biggest question mark team of like the low lottery. And they have Quickly, who's already kind of a good offense, bad defense guard. Like they pay him a fair amount of money. They really don't need somebody like Simons to come into their team next year unless they truly believe in the group that they have. And they're like, man, give us all the firepower possible. But even then, Simons is not the guy, and you almost would rather have the number 9 pick in this draft. New Orleans, I don't think he moves the needle for them enough to give up 7, unless you're attaching Hauser to it too, and they're really in love with that. idea, but then that's a lot of money to be going down to the Pelicans. So I'm not sure it really works. It is probably going to be an outside lottery team. Like you mentioned, Memphis, Minnesota, those two make more sense than the rest. Maybe you can get some of the guys that we've already looked at. Like before we started recording this video, I was like, what if they move up and trade for Cedric Coward, or they trade for Colin Murray Boyles, who I like, Jack doesn't really like. But the more realistic avenue here is, oh, maybe it's Danny Wolf or Thomas Sorber, who are probably out of Boston's range at 28, but they're not high lottery type players. They are out of the lottery, but good prospects nonetheless.
And even more important, past like the targeting a specific prospect, is could you save money? Could you add future draft capital? Could you further flip the Drew trade into more draft assets moving forward? So Fanspo and Spot Track neither have updated the trade machine to have Anfernee Simons on the Celtics just yet. So we'll use Kristaps' salary from this year. Anfernee Simons makes about $2 million less, so we can try our best to account for that. It's an imperfect science. So there's going to be some messed up, so we won't know 100% exactly. And we can't combine players because the Celtics can't combine players. Like it's messy, right? Anfernee Simons makes 27.6 next year. Kristaps makes 29.2. So just keep that in mind. If the Timberwolves were to want it, it gets a little bit probably too dicey because they're also currently a second apron team. So they probably can't do anything before the draft with the Celtics. So that might just be immediately out of the question, unfortunately. So trading up to the draft spot. You could look at the Grizzlies and see if they wanted to like make something happen. I don't know if the trade machine is updated with that. There's just a lot of hoops that people have to jump through. Yeah, see, Desmond Bane is still on the Grizzlies in this, so we can't even like mess around and do a deal there.
Can you do it for the 26th season?
Maybe, but then you can't trade the pick.
Well, you could like hold the pick. Like you know how it goes where like the players that get drafted put the wrong hat on because they've been traded, but technically they haven't been announced that they've been traded.
Oh yeah, Simons is here for the 25-26 season. So we'll act like that. That works. So the Grizzlies, like if they gave okay, so theoretically, if the Grizzlies wanted, oh, that's so close. That's painful. If they renounce a contract, wait 1 second. Maybe if I renounce, yeah. So theoretically, Brandon Clark, John Conchar, and the 16th pick would work for Anfernee Simons, and maybe they throw in a future first if they want.
So
I don't hate it. I don't love it. Anfernee Simons is so clearly a better player than Brandon Clark. And I don't love Anfernee Simons like player type, but I am not stupid, right? He is an amazing offensive player, like an extremely good offensive player. So trading him for this would hurt. You would shed $9 million. You would get an extra first. You'd probably want more draft capital. I don't know. I don't think I would want to do it, but you shed the money.
We're so evil. Just the guy just got here. We're trading him away for essentially a draft pick. But I'll say this. If you did the trade, well, first of all, if you did this version of the trade, I've completely bought in. That's a lot of savings. The Drew trade is now like working in my head. But if you traded Drew for Brandon Clark in the 16th pick and then 2 seconds, I don't know. It's not terrible.
But then my question is, if they already made this Drew trade with Anfernee Simons, it feels like their priority is not the savings and just recouping talent and value. And this wouldn't do that. Unless you like get another first round pick from Memphis, unless they're like, all right, we'll also give you this future Orlando first. Then you're getting multiple first round picks and Brandon Clark. And
I know we want to take it with a grain of salt, but the Fisher newsletter today, it said like the motivation with Boston and the message they've sent to other teams around the league. So the sourcing on this is probably other execs, not the Celtics directly. Is that the Celtics are looking to get younger and stay good. Like it's not like what my pea-brain, narrow-minded mindset about this is. It's more about what we're talking about. But by doing what we are laying out, they are getting younger, and they would still keep their draft picks in the hypothetical Grizzly trade too, which is pretty cool if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean they could do something like Duncan Robinson. That's kind of nasty though.
I went not because I think it's exciting for Boston per se. More of oh yeah, like Miami has been trying to get rid of Duncan Robinson for years. I guess it doesn't really matter anymore because he's going to expire this season.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't hate that Memphis one. I don't love it. At this point, like if it seems relatively clear that they are wanting to stay young and just add talent, then maybe it is what it is. And they just live with having that extra salary and they find other ways to shed it and use the seconds to dump Porzingis that they got in the Simons trade. Like maybe you just live with it and you roll with Simons, because for as much as I have expressed my dislike or my lack of excitement for Simons because of his lack of defense, he's an objectively talented player. He's an incredible shooter. He's an incredible offensive player, and he will help the Celtics win games next season 100%. It's just so weird because it's so blatantly against the way they play basketball for the 2 years that it's hard to wrap your brain around.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of talk over the last like day since, or not even day, half day since the trade went down, where people are like, what if they start playing with a bunch of pace now? Like, what if they play pacer ball? And that would be fun. Like, you could see it, but Simons isn't Halliburton. Like, he's not going to be out there being the not going to shoot if he doesn't have to set his teammates up type guy. And he's not being billed like that, in fairness to everybody online. But I don't know if he changes that much. But it does, it enables it. I just don't know who's going to be your pace pusher. I don't think you want it to be Jalen. Is it Derek? I don't know. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But
I think Jalen can be the pace pusher. He was like the best transition player in the NBA the year they won the
he's
championship.
a good transition player, but like if you're asking him to make decisions and stay under control while trying to initiate offense.
I did a whole video on how him pushing the pace was the only reason the Celtics were able to come back in the Magic series. I feel like Jalen would be fine.
I mean it less of a like being good in transition way and more of how like the Pacers just immediately punch back. Like the ball will go in the hoop and then they throw an outlet pass, make the right read.
Yeah,
like,
that's what Jalen was doing
for an easy thing. Okay, well, fair enough, but
I don't know. It's not possible. I understand the concerns there too. I mean, Jalen has had turnover problems throughout his career, but I don't think it's impossible by any means that he could potentially find a way into that role. I don't know.
Anyways,
yeah.
If they are to trade up, should we briefly discuss some guys that would,
if you'd like to, yeah, go ahead.
Fun to trade up for?
Keep in mind, like
let's say the 16-17 range.
Sure. Would you like to go? Do you have guys in mind?
Yeah, we can talk about it. So, two obvious ones that Jack and I have done videos on, which are on the channel, are Thomas Sorber and Danny Wolf. The No Ceilings big board has Wolf projected at 17 on the big board and Sorber 18. So they would be there if they did the hypothetical trade with Memphis. Both of those guys are bigs. Wolf is a visionary passer. He was asked to play point guard at Michigan. Jack is a huge fan of Danny Wolf's. And Sorber is another exciting guy. He's more of a undersized big man who's strong and plays gritty defense. He could be somebody you could see being an energy guy off of Boston's bench and probably has room to grow athletically. Really long wingspan, good at blocking shots, loud, energetic player. Then there's also Cedric Howard. Cedric Howard is someone we didn't do a preview on, but we did mention him in an earlier video that was a mailbag. And Coward is somebody that the Celtics did work out and a lot of teams like, but he has been a massive riser throughout this entire pre-draft month since the Celtics got eliminated from the playoffs, and he probably will be out of their range at 28 now. If they like him enough, maybe that's part of the plan, but I think it's a big if they do get to 19. I mean, to 16, rather.
I love Cedric Howard. I think he's incredible. I don't think he'll get to 16. If I had to guess, I think he would probably go. He might even go top 10. Man, he's really, really good.
The hype is real.
I like Danny Wolf a lot. If he got there, I would love if Celtics got him. I don't know. It's hard because there's such a fine line between that 16 to 20 range and like the actual 28 range where the Celtics are drafting. Like, for all we know, one of these guys could slip. I mean, we've seen guys like Dalton Connect or Cam Whitmore in past years slip from where they were projected to go to way late in the draft. And so you don't really know who's going to be available. Like, like Drake Powell, but he could be there at 28, but he could also not be there at 16. So I like Nick Clifford a lot too. I think he's a really good player, great shooter, great IQ, does a little bit of everything. He's at 21 on Yahoo Sports mock draft. Cedric Coward's at 15. So that's right in that range. You can even get into the Derek Queens, the Colin Murray Boyles, the Carter Bryans, who are like 11, 12, 13, or excuse me, 10, 11, 12, if you really want to get down there. Yahoo has Joe and Behringer going 13, so that's probably your dream out the window, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wish KOC would apologize to me personally for that. Hurts.
I like Reno, excuse me. He'll probably go pretty quickly. I don't know. A lot of the guys could flip-flop between the 28 and the high teens range, so it's tough to tell who's exactly going to be available where. But I would love a Cedric Coward. I would love a Danny Wolf. I would love a excuse me. Who else was I talking about just now? Nick Clifford in that range. So all would be solid. I don't know. It's weird. I feel like the Celtics still have more stuff brewing in the next couple days, and we'll just have to see what it is.
I just started laughing at myself. What if by the time this video goes up, something else has happened and has ruined our video?
That's what I said. We'll see. All right. But anyways, let us know what you guys think of the draft. It's tonight as you're listening to this. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll let Sam take it up.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think of Simons. Let us know what you think of a potential trade-up involving him, and tell us how evil we are for already being on this wave. It's just kind of what we have to do at this point. You can subscribe because we are here every single day with new content. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps for the morning after each game. We will have a morning react video. Actually, we have a pod coming out after the draft in the morning. We'll have something for you after they draft, whoever they draft in the draft tonight. So be on the lookout. Hit the bell because we're here if anything breaks. We were live on the channel last night when the Drew thing happened. We put up an instant reacts video on the Drew trade, so we've got you covered. Stick around through all of it. Find us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are up there, as are the breaking episodes. So go ahead, follow. All of that stuff will go right to your feed, and leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We're reading every single email when we do our shows. hbtcpod@gmail.com. Let us know how you're feeling ahead of the draft and after the Simons trade. You can find our socials at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's1NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us.
Taco, come on. Taco's having some fun here.